Hi, folks. Welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. Yes, I'm able to get a little bit more volume out. Still very raspy, but at least I have some volume. I don't feel like I'm whispering. There's a comment this morning in one of my videos that someone was irritated that I was whispering to them. Oh, you sound all creepy and weird is what they said. I can't help that. It's just the voice. But I can get some volume now. So I guess technically this video is kind of almost a part two of yesterday's video, in respect to just the things that are happening that are they're imperative. They're things that are very serious. Number one, let's talk about this Hurricane Milton. So latest that I was reading is that it has passed, or at least scraped, the land there in Mexico, the Yucatan Peninsula. It didn't like go completely over it, but it did scrape it. And it scraped it enough that it lost some of the energy going over land. And so hurricane reduced down to Category 4, which was completely expected. That's normal. And the original projections was that it was going to do that. It would stay a 4, and then it'd drop down to a 3, and then it would hit landfall, because they never expected it to be a Category 5. In fact, originally they thought 3, maybe a 4. Now it's one of the strongest hurricanes on record. Anyway, so it's passed over the land, it's back out in open waters, and it is increasing in energy, which is not what they predicted. Already up to a Category 5, and who knows? The questions are now, is it going to regain all of its strength and be way up there into that fictitious Category 6 level when it makes landfall there in the Tampa area? Who knows? Now, I know that there's a lot of talk about, weather control and manipulation, and I'm not here to make a comment on that either way. Yes, I believe that they can manipulate a lot of weather. Who knows how much they're able to control it? But you also have to factor in that in the last week, the Earth has been bombarded with at least 4 X-class solar flares. 2 of them were very large. One was the largest we've had in a decade or two. Yeah, that also contributes to weather and earthquakes and all that kind of stuff. So everything, it's just intense. And then, unfortunately, it looks like, at least for now, and of course it's far enough out, things can dramatically change, but it looks like that there's another depression, tropical depression, starting to form in the Gulf behind this Hurricane Milton. And if it follows the early projections, it would hit mainland Florida in the southern part of the peninsula south of where this one would hit. So this is, and that they're saying that's 7 to 10 days out. One has to start asking the question of how much is this going to affect voting? I mean, if Florida is greatly affected in the voting and they're not able to contribute that much, how much will that affect? There's a lot going on here with this. This current one, though, this is a doozy, and you need to be taking shelter. You need to be stocking up. This is pretty much the last day that you can do that. And I understand some of you can't leave. Some of you have tried. There's no fuel, and the roads are all congested. I get all that. I get it. But that's why we stay prepared. That's why you should be prepared. You should have all of these in your contingency plans, wherever you live. If you can't, if something happens, what are you going to do if the roads are blocked or you can't get down the road? What are you going to do if there's no fuel? All these things, you should have contingencies for all of these things. This is what I talk about all the time, folks. When I'm talking about developing your preparedness plan. You may not live on the coast. You may not live anywhere near hurricane areas, but there's most likely all kinds of natural and man-made disasters that can happen in your area. You should have contingencies for all of these. Think about it. What if, the only way into your home is crossing a creek, a river, and if the water rises and you can't get out, what are you going to do? Do you have a plan for that? start working on these plans, folks, because I don't think that this type of stuff that we've been seeing the last week or so is over. I think it's just going to continue to get worse. The other thing that I've talked about a lot recently also is just the tensions between the Middle East, Russia, Eastern Europe. Everything seems, there's just this appearance, there's an oddness going on, that it seems like something bad is just about to break out. The Minister of Defense has canceled his trip. The Minister of Defense of Israel was scheduled to come to the United States to speak with our officials, and it was canceled. Benjamin Netanyahu told the guy, don't go talk to them until Biden comes to talk to me. The news has been back and forth of the type of intel they're getting on what Israel is going to do to Iran. First, they said they weren't going to hit nuclear sites or power, electrical infrastructure stuff. They were going to hit intelligence and military sites. Now it's back to saying that it looks like Israel is planning to strike energy and potentially even nuclear sites in Iran. Iran is furious, and they say they're ready to go to war against Israel. They're ready to take this all the way. And there's just a lot of back and forth stuff in that area. Today, Israel bombed an apartment complex in Syria that had some top Iranian military officials in it, which now also has Russia even more infuriated, because Russia is saying that, hey, we're allies with Syria and we shouldn't allow that to happen. I mean, I'm paraphrasing, but you know what I'm saying. It just, there's Putin yesterday was rushed to the Kremlin. There's all this. Biden is canceling his trip overseas because of the things that are going on in Israel. There's a lot of intensity right now that kind of indicates, at least has this feeling, that things really are truly about ready to pop off. I know it has felt that way in the past, but I don't know, I think this time is different. And we know, based on the actions of Israel recently and Iran recently, both sides are very serious. This is no longer just all talk. You and I have said it, you have said it over the past few years, like, oh, it's all talk. There's always these threats. Well, it's no longer just talk. It's no longer just threats. Both sides have definitely followed through with their threats, and now it's getting serious. And with all the other things going on, this is most definitely going to just exacerbate the situation. And we need to be seriously preparing for that. When you see the whole totality, excuse me, there's that 12-year-old coming out again. When you look at the totality of things, which is what I've been trying to get across for years on here, see it as a big picture. Don't just focus on that one singular event or this one and that one. Look at the whole. And when you start to look at the whole and you see all these things happening, it paints a very dark picture for us right now. And as depressing as that may sound, I'm thinking this morning, I sent it out to our group, Judges 3:12, Judges 3:12. And basically my paraphrase version of it is that Israel sinned. Israel turned its back on God. They did bad things, and God rose up enemies around Israel to take Israel out as punishment. And I think that that's exactly what we're seeing in the United States. The millions and millions of children that have died under the hand of the United States, the thousands and hundreds of thousands maybe of children that are being led astray down a very immoral, deviant path they're being told it's normal. The things that's happening over the last decades, it's just getting worse and worse and worse. That many people said that America once had God's blessings and now it's turned its back on him. It's quite likely that America now has to pay for those wages, those sins. And the wages for those sins is death. We know that. Sin is a reproach for any people. The word tells us that. And so as these things are happening, as much as we don't want them to happen, as much as we don't want America to fall, as much as we don't want all these disasters and collapses and economic and wars and illegals and stuff, maybe it's also the punishment for where America has been. And that's why folks like you and I not only need to be physically prepared, but spiritually prepared, because there's protection in that. The Bible talks about that those that hold true, that they're protected. It doesn't mean that you won't go through tough times, but that his hand will be over you. And I think America's at that place. So as sad as it is to see America fall apart in this way and all these tragic things happen, there's a side of me seeing that, you know, this is what's necessary. This is what's necessary. If there's ever a chance that America could turn itself around, that the people, the American people, if there's ever hope that there can be a revival amongst the American people once again, not just to liberty and freedoms, but back to where it needs to be with God, this may be the only way for that to happen. So either way, we've got to be prepared, because it's absolutely happening in front of us. And the people for the last several months and years of, you know, the naysayers, oh, you're overreacting, that stuff's not happening. It's happening, folks. It's happening in real time right before our eyes. We have to be prepared for that. You should have started months and months ago, but definitely continue your preparedness. Keep stocking up food, water purification, fuel, medical for injuries, medical for illnesses, ways to purify water, this kind of stuff. Look at all the things that they've been dealing with in the Carolinas: batteries, flashlights, all of that kind of stuff, radios. Get that stuff lined out quickly, because as more of these hurricanes and wars and illegals pour in, these supplies will also become shorter and shorter to get a hold of. It's going to be harder. There's already shortages in a lot of areas, and it's only going to get worse. So don't wait too long to stock up on the things that you need, but mostly stock up on him. That's the most important thing. Folks, get your houses in order. Prepare mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next video.